Hey guys, you're now watching Over Yourself by Tete, and I'll be giving you an update on Vybz Kartel appeal. So is Kartel a free man? Everybody wants to know. I'll be reading the conclusion directly from the court document for you guys, and then after I'll be explaining some stuff about the case for those who don't know what's going on. So the conclusion says, for the reasons set out above, the board would humbly advise His Majesty that the appellant's conviction should be quashed and that the question whether there should be a retrial should be remitted to the Court of Appeal of Jamaica. While this does not mean that Vybz Kartel is free as of now, it does mean that his appeal went through and his appeal is successful, meaning that Jamaica will have to retry Vybz Kartel for his crimes or they will have to acquit him. We're not sure what their decision will be yet. But so far, the court has accepted his appeal because they felt like his charter was violated and they do not have enough evidence, which means that all the evidence they have were tampered with. I'll be reading the evidence obtained in the breach of the charter directly from the document. 61. On behalf of the appellants, it is submitted that their convictions were obtained in breach of the charter. It is said the means by which the evidence contained in Exhibit JS2 was obtained did not meet the requirements of the ICA and that the evidence was therefore inadmissible because it was obtained in breach of the fundamental right to the protection of privacy and of other communication guaranteed by Section 13.3 JIII of the Charter. For those who don't know what a charter is, a charter is your own human right, just to put it in a more simpler form. To continue, on the appeal, the board has presented with elaborate submissions, both orally and in writing, as to correct approach to constitutional issues surrounding the admissibility of illegally obtained evidence. The board has been invited to lay down new principles and extensive reference has been made to comparative jurisprudence in a number of jurisdictions. It is unfortunate that these submissions were not canvassed before Jamaican courts in the proceedings below. Rather, before the Court of Appeal, these issues were argued and decided on the basis of conventional Privy Council jurisprudence from which we are now invited to depart. As a result, the board does not have the benefit of the views of the Jamaican courts on these important matters. In circumstances where the convictions are to be quashed on other grounds, the board takes the view that consideration of these constitutional issues should be deferred to another occasion on which the board may be assisted by the views of the Jamaican judiciary. To recap and make it simple, his rights were violated and the evidence was not collected properly, which makes it inadmissible. This and the consideration that the jurors were pressured was what ultimately led to the decision of the appeal approval. And for those who are not aware what's actually going on, we're going to just read the facts of this case. And this is a case summary, okay? After a trial lasting 64 days before the trial judge and a jury in the Hope Circuit Court in Kingston, Jamaica, the appellants were convicted of Mr. Williams' murder. The prosecution's case was that the appellants murdered Mr. Williams on the 16th of August 2011 after he failed to return two unlicensed firearms which his second appellant, Mr. Palmer, had given him for safekeeping. Mr. Williams was not seen or heard from after that date, and his body was never found. The police took the appellants into custody on the 30th of September 2011 and seized their cellular telephones. The prosecution relied heavily on evidence derived from these phones, which was taken from a copy of a CD-ROM provided by Digicel, which is a telecommunications provider in Jamaica, in response to a police request. At the trial, the appellants challenged the admissibility of the telecommunications evidence. They argued that the police requested Digicel and Digicel's provision of data to the police were carried out in a breach of the Interception of the Communications Act. Further, the evidence had been obtained in breach of the fundamental right to the protection of privacy of communication guaranteed by the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms contained in the Jamaica Constitution. However, the trial judge ruled that the telecommunications evidence was admissible. During the trial, the judge became aware of an allegation that a juror had attempted to bribe others by offering 500,000 JMD for a particular outcome. After investigating the allegations and providing it with a counsel for both the prosecution and the defense, the judge decided that the trial should proceed. He did not discharge the jury or the particular juror said to have offered the bribes. The judge finished this summing up at 3:42 p.m. on the 13th of March 2014. The jury returned at 5:35 p.m. when the four women told the court that the jury had not reached a unanimous verdict. The judge sent the jury out again at 6:08 p.m. The jury returned and by a majority of 10-1 convicted the appellant of the murder of Mr. Williams. The Court of Appeals dismissed the appellant's appeal against convictions. The appellant now appealed to His Majesty in Council, and the Majesty in Council is the highest you can go, and they have now accepted their appeal. So there you guys go. Now we're going to see if they're going to retry it or just throw it through the window. If you have reached this far in the video, please give me a subscribe as we continue to speak. Thank you. Now, even if Vybz Kartel is guilty of murder, just the way how they handled the situation, the police in Jamaica handled the situation with the evidence, that alone can get the case thrown out. First and foremost, the jury had to be switched out. If it was anywhere else, the jury would have to be switched out because a jury can't be biased. And that's why if you know somebody that's on trial, you can't be a juror for that case. Jurors should have no association or affiliation with the person on trial, which means that their only standpoint should be from what is presented in court. That's what only should influence them to make their decision when going up for a verdict. Now that I've given you guys the update, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. Do you think that Kartel is actually guilty? Do you think that he should walk free? And also, do you think he is guilty but the evidence will allow him to walk free? Or do you just think he's free overall? Meaning that he's innocent and he should be let free. I've seen a lot of comments saying that they think he should stay in jail for reasons of safety. I'm not sure what's going on the street in terms of that. But you guys can always leave your comments down below and have healthy conversations. I'll read to you a few opinions I've seen on the internet. So someone said, "Wanna go out behind on a family like this?" Somebody else said, "Who else ready for the Vybz Kartel Freedom Concert?" All know him better win. All me know him better win because my bet half of my chicken farm on him. That's crazy. Boy, me really can't understand these people. No, sir. Imagine people about for a murderer get free, then in the talk how the crime rate high. Jaja, SMH. Those are just a few of the many that are there. So remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you watch this video and you've gotten this far. Please subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000. Bye. I'll see you guys.